Hey everyone, it's been a good ride, but after a lot of soul searching I've made a decision, and I know a lot of you are not going to like it. This is going to be the very last Real World Magic video.
No!
I know, but don't panic, because I'm not going to be quitting YouTube or stopping the content that this channel produces. In fact, kind of the opposite. As you may have guessed by now, I'm going to be changing the channel name, and there are loads of reasons for that. So if you want to know the new name, see the new animated logo, video intro, all of that jazz, stay tuned. I'm moving house very soon, and I'm going to be spending most of my spare time and, let's be honest, frankly, money, building a magical space. It's kind of a leaky cauldron style pub, library, chill out space with flying and whizzing things, floating candles, moving portraits, mysterious glowing mushrooms growing out of the bar, and all of the technology that's going to enable this is going to be hidden. So it's also going to be a cinema room where I can watch Harry Potter on repeat, and I probably will. And there's so much more to tell you, but before all of that, let's run the Real World Magic intro one last time, because it's so emotional. Let's do it. It's coming up right after this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Real World Magic for the last time, where we aim to make your life more magical. My name's Neil, I'm going to be your magical host, and in this video I'm going to be explaining why I decided that real world magic must end. Today is actually the second birthday of the channel, so it's a good time for a bit of a shake-up and reassessing my own life. No, I'm totally kidding. The channel itself will still be around, and so will I, but I'm serious that this is the very last real world magic video. Like I said, the channel's coming with me when I move house, and we're going to have a lot more space to spread out our dragon wings into. It's not a massive warehouse or anything, and I will be doing a proper tour when we get started, but I'm basically converting a garage or garage into an office, with a bit of a fun little man cave idea attached. It's not enormous, but it should be big enough for everything that I'm planning. There's going to be a mysterious fireplace with bubbling cauldron on there. It's going to have flaming torches on the walls to give that sort of firelight glow. It's going to allow me to do cookery programs, live magic demonstrations, unboxings, DIY videos, and I'm going to have a pub kind of feel, complete with a bar that I'll be making myself. The bar itself is going to be a perfect area for showing sculpting videos and how-tos, and the live shows are going to be largely the same, but that's also going to have a little bit of change going on, with improvements in the green screen so that my hands don't disappear if I do this. Okay, so I don't want anyone to worry, because I know that change can be scary, but I am still going to be making videos, and most of what you like about this channel will still be here. Frank, the talking elephant, is still going to be joining us on the live streams, but there will be some pretty major changes. The most obvious change, of course, is that we're going to be getting a new name, and more on that in just a bit. I've been thinking about this for ages, and like I said, I know some of you aren't going to like it. So before I show off the new channel name and intro, and it is worth waiting for, I think, just let me explain why I'm doing it. Real World Magic was formed to make life more magical, and that's not changed. But it has become obvious over the last 2 years that we need a bit more control over the brand. Someone else bought realworldmagic.com, and no matter what I offered them, they wouldn't sell it to me.
It's because you're too cheap.
Yeah, they're probably right. But we didn't have any social medias in the right name, and that was a problem too. Plus the Real World Magic logo needed a bit of a revamp anyway. You've probably seen that it's already been redesigned once, and it was based on a logo idea that I had about 20 years ago, so I kind of wanted to refocus my efforts on the kinds of videos and brand that I want to make. So I figured a rename, a relaunch and a rebrand would be a good way to do it all, tie it all together, and hold it for the long-term future of this channel. Now if you unsubscribe, I get it, but I'm hoping that you won't, because there is so much to see as we move into the next phase. So let me tell you a bit about that. I also know, by the way, that some of you are going to hate it, and some of you will feel uncomfortable with it at first, but it's my job to convince you that it's a really good thing. I'm super excited about it, hopefully you can tell, and I'm really keen to take you with me on this new journey. All memberships and patron packages are still going to stay exactly the same as they are at the moment, except that all giveaways in the future are going to only be available to patrons and members purely as a thank you for your support. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning stuff, you'll need to be a member. All of the links are down in the description if you want to do that. Talking of giveaways, I'm doing bigger ones too. I'll be giving away physical stuff like sculptures, and I'll be taking suggestions on what to do in my man cave to make it more magical. And by the way, the door going in the background, that's not going to happen anymore because I'm going to have a dedicated space for recording. So that's cool. And if I make something, by the way, I'll also normally make 2 of them so I can give one away to members and patrons, again as a thank you. There's going to be new animations, new sound effects, new audiobooks, posters, templates, t-shirt designs, signs, paintings, sculptures. They're all going to be made by me, and everything that goes into my magical man cave will either be perfect or it's just not going in. And I know I'm a perfectionist, but in this context, I think it's a good thing. So with all of that in mind, all future videos are going to be under a brand new name. However, and I need to say this again, the core of Real World Magic is going to stay the same. But here we go. Let me introduce you to our new name. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Real Wizardry. So, Real Wizardry keeps the core of real world magic, but it doubles down on the wizardry and fantasy side of things. And that's certainly a lot more focused on the kinds of things that I've been doing for the last few months anyway, and it still allows us to add the odd random thing in. It also lets us expand with a new brand, and now that I own realwizardry.com and .co.uk, as well as the Facebook group and page, it kind of marks a bit of a change. Getting used to change, as I said, can be hard, and for me especially, I know that I'm going to get tongue-tied in the video intros. But I have so many ideas written in this little black book that was given to me by Chivalrous Tube, one of my patrons. I just know how awesome this is going to be. So if you'd like to support this channel like he does, and like these awesome people do, then head on down to the links in the description where I've put all of the links that you're going to need to join this channel, support me on Patreon, and visit my merch shop and stuff like that. So here for the very first time is the blueprint of my new space, and I know it's kind of tight, but I wanted to show you what I'm intending on doing. This is the garage itself. It's going to need a new roof, boxing in the main door, lining and damp proofing the walls, significant electrical work, and an extra course on the walls to raise the height of the new roof a little bit. I'll also need to insulate and line the walls and add a stud wall to partition between the office and the business area and the fun or frivolous side of the bar. And this is almost symbolic because while I'm going to have an area for my full-time job and working side of things, I also want to put time and effort into getting that balance right. I want to do things in a structured way and keep organised, but I also want to be able to stretch myself and do something that nobody has ever seen before. You see, so many channels on YouTube show how to make XYZ from whatever fantasy genre using cardboard or craft glue, but it just never really looks real. And I'm not saying realistic or a scale model or even something that reminds people of a fantasy thing. I'm talking about if you suddenly got teleported into a fantasy tavern from film, book or TV, would your item, whatever that is, fit in? Or would it stand out like some plasticky craft glue homemade project? If the answer's the second one, I don't want that. This is all about escapism for me. Luxury, realism, real wizardry. My aim has always been to enrich people's lives with real-world magic, and that's not changing. The name, logo, branding, that changes, but the brand values, the core, the heart of the channel, that's still here. Making life more magical for people, and that's not changing. There's going to be a lot of emphasis in the shorter term on how I'm going to generate my magical space itself, and I'm going to be launching a segment called Magical Man Cave Mondays. This is going to be exclusively dedicated to showing you what I'm doing in the man cave and how that's all coming together. The first stages are going to be purely practical, like getting some building work done, electrical stuff, but as we move into the middle and towards the end, it'll start getting really fun with builds like making a magic window where the weather can change outside, depending on what I do with a magic wand. The entranceway to the garage is going to feed into a vanishing cabinet that has a false back to allow entrance to either the man cave or to the office, and this is going to be shaped a little bit like the Boggart wardrobe from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The office will be suitable for 2 people to work in all day, together with air conditioning for the hot British summer days, and this is where my Cricut, computer stuff, printers, lighting, technical things, that's all going to be located in there. I'll have the whole lot set up with security too, don't panic, so I'll chop off burglars' arms, and I probably won't. It's just maybe going to be an alarm, I don't know. My live shows are going to be hosted in the office area too, so the whole back wall is going to be bright green and well lit so that I can make the whole thing a green screen, so that when I'm hosting with someone else, like my son Daniel, we can spread out a bit, and that'll be good too, because sometimes we do get a bit squashed when we're trying to huddle in front of the green screen. Okay, so on the other side of the wall, This is where the wizard pub is going to be going. So we're going to need to build a bar, complete with pumps, bottles, and even some glowing mushrooms sprouting out of the bar itself. From the roof behind the bar, there's going to be shelves to keep glasses and things like that, and there's also going to be a small pelmet. That's going to hide a roller blind for a home cinema that I'm building. Opposite the bar, there's going to be a gorgeous leather Chesterfield sofa, totally in keeping with the olden day aesthetic, but also with a nod to being really comfortable so that we can sit and watch movies in there without getting sore butts. There will be a fireplace and a window, and that's going to have snow, and hopefully, if I can work out how, I'm going to add rain too. I want to be able to turn the weather outside from one thing to another, just with a magic wand, and also to control between daytime and nighttime, and even possibly add a romantic sunset in there as well. There's going to be flaming torches on the walls, and every spare inch of wall will be covered in some awesome magical books. In 2011, I wrote my first fantasy novel, and in that series, I wrote about a wizard pub called the Gobble Inn. So I'm going to make a sign for this pub called the Gobble Inn, and I'm going to document all of that and how I made it. I'm also making some really fun wall decorations too. I can't say too much about that, but it will probably be coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to be linking the whole thing with my previous projects like Talking Pumpkins and Ghost Fish Tanks and stuff like that. On top of the man cave renovation, I'm also planning other videos about how to convince your friends that their house is haunted using magic and illusion, how to cleanse your house using witchcraft and tons of magic and wizardry kind of related content that I just know you're going to love. And by the way, every single thing within the pub is going to be controlled by a smart home system. I'm even planning on a way of changing the wake word of my smart home to Dobby, so I can yell, "Dobby, light the fire!" and the fireplace will then spring to life, crackling and bubbling over from the cauldron. Hopefully you're as excited about all of this stuff as I am, and you can tell my excitement. Hopefully you can tell it's going to be brilliant, and hopefully you're going to be able to support Real Wizardry as we move into the next phase. Thanks again for all of your support. I'll let you know about the house move as it all gets finalised, but I just wanted to let you know about the exciting news now. Real Wizardry will be back on Saturday at 6 p.m. with the very first Real Wizardry live stream. I'll catch you all then, hopefully, and you can join in because I have prizes to give away to members and patrons. Like this video if you did, subscribe, ding that bell if you haven't already, and also if you can comment down below what you think of the new brand, that would really help me out because I just want to know. I'll be back next time with some more magical awesomeness, but until next time, as always, be magical! Okay, so I don't want anyone to worry because I know that change can be... Okay, so I don't want any... I don't know what I'm saying.